blind like that, just hoping, praying that it go in your favor. Now we look at the pace again. Ouch. Heavy look towards A. Still got a buy. Yes, could be lacking in some areas. Obviously, Padisek, they're just down on the Sheriff. This looks simplistic in approach, at least for now.
G2 have a double setup in mid. Nats could be running into some serious trouble if he tries to play into that B space.
It feels like they're pulling the players over. Yeah, G2, that's 3 players now towards 8. Smoke cloaks and away we go. Nats trying to navigate through middle, but still, it's all going to be held down by G2. They got bodies here. This feels like it's falling flat, and it is. G2 making light work of Liquid. This doesn't look threatening at all. You didn't see Nats. Guess where he is? Right behind you. Good luck, Kiko. Have fun, Kamek. You're not going to do a thing here. G2 have elevated the last couple of rounds. And Kamek can try and make it look good for the scoreboard, but that'll be about it in a 1v4. G2 back. In control.
Yeah, Trent and Jonah P. keeping it locked down over on the A site. Finding the 2 kills through the spam, then their util is coming back off the cycle because the hit's coming in right on that 1 minute mark. Just stopping Team Liquid in their tracks completely. Those are the guys that, again, Jogmo's off in Narnia over on the B side. He's not helpful. So to be able to lock it down like this is just fantastic.
It's very readable right now. I feel like G2 have been doing their homework and Liquid just, I don't want to say falling short. 4 rounds is doable, 5 would be much better for them, but still this doesn't feel inventive, it doesn't feel unknown.
This mid space is really strange right now. Team Liquid going for an ult play back in lane.
Camo straight away takes away lead. It's pacey, but G2 have been good in this sort of chaos. They've kept up with this, but it's a lot of players in a very awkward situation. Jaw is surrounded. He wants to fight out. Jogmo will not back away, and maybe he should have, but he couldn't. G2 still staying in this with 3 standing, but the C site is lost.
It's a 3v3 right now. Alan has an ultimate, there's fighting garage, this determines everything. Jonah P opening it up now can call in his teammates to ult back into the site.
And there it is, ult comes in. Kamek was ready, this was nice, 25. 5 HP, we've got to know that space could have been occupied. Jonah P is on the money now! G2 looking so much better!
Yeah.
That was wild. Team Liquid just blow open the round, but again, it's Jonah P finding those kills. It's Jogmo turning around to deal with Camo's jet when he's surrounded on every single front.
Oh, it feels like Liquid ran out of steam there, and G2 showing their depth at 8-4.
Once a breath, all missiles away.
Wait.
Nice, boys! As we take this on.
Had it with your old phone? We've got you. At Verizon, trade in any old phone for iPhone 16 Pro on us, on any plan. And get iPad and Apple Watch Series 10, all 3 on us. That's up to $2,000 in value, only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
क्या कहना होता है
Was a volatile start. You know, Liquid came out swinging. It looked like we had a bit of a game on our hands. Nats looking like maybe it was another sort of, you know, one of those.
Owning.
But G2 made it. suddenly, what, 7th round, looked like they had no problems at all.
Yeah, 6 in a
0.
row.
Easy.
Yeah, 6 in a row to close it out. Very impressive stuff. Honestly, if you want to just talk game plans for these two teams, it felt like G2, after that timeout was called, lights out. Could not be touched. But Team Liquid came in with a really interesting read. It was all about fighting forward in those post plants, stopping G2 before they could really get into their retake. So I sort of feel like Team Liquid will have a lot of these hard reads on G2 coming into this series. Do or die series for them. And on their defense, I wonder what that's going to be. It's going to start on Pistol with a heavy fight over C-Long.
Oh, this could be a straight up biff, isn't it? Just 3 on one side, 5 on the other. Numbers looking a little bit better for G2, but let's see. Already very well. Oh, this could be so sick. This is so sick. Look at the pour on of Util. They put it right through the blender. Kamek the on to really draw blood though. And G2 fighting it out. It felt like Liquid had the read, and it didn't matter for a moment.
How on earth did TL only get the one? Their utility was genuinely perfect. We're going to have to wait to the replay because I thought they had absolutely everything they needed.
Oh, that's gutting as well. That's a wind out of your sails, right? For G2, you're grinning, right? You've just got...
Hold on.
Yeah. Kiko. No way were you going to make that anymore. He's made it doable, though. He's brought it down to a 1v2. Trent and Valen suddenly having to really focus.
Helen's on 10 HP. Helen's still going to just...
The timing. Trent, you absolute
Dia hafta tak mana
superstar.
cuba dua tu,
He
Jeng.
was phenomenal during the regulation.
Dah macam mai semua dah hidup
He
jamai.
was impactful there, and he might have just saved that one from becoming a tragedy. But the start of that, Liquid knew it all.
Yeah, please, let's see that again. Oh, there's a counter stun, so at least Patatek is
dah
stunned.
હું કરવા રાખ્યો છે
Not
તાને
sure what
બસ
happens to
ધમાની
him
કરવાની
if he lands on the other
કરવાની
side.
One down.
Felt so good.
Yeah. I mean, benefit of the doubt is there could have been, you know, some like Yoru flash something that forced them off the line. I'm gonna assume, but that was hard to see through all the mess of utility being tossed out there.
That has got to be an absolute gut punch for Liquid in their mind, because they had the right read. But doesn't matter, still got to click the heads, and it was G2 out on top, dealing with whatever cards thrown at them. Leave. Quickly going to get out of there. Ooh.
Wow, just barely misses
You
it.
are, yeah, it's the finest of margins. But in the meantime, G2 have staked their claim on this C site. And yeah, there's Sheriffs on the other side, but they should be 10, right?
Yeah, I mean, G2 went for the full buy here. They don't care about the bonus. It's just about winning that round. Call with the heavy round advantage coming on through here. Double stars to stop the flood out from C-Link too. Wall to cover the flank. This is a solid anti-eco setup.
This is really uphill. Liquid looking for options and finding very little, and that's the only one to do it as G2 stalwart on this site. Hold G2 again. They invested heavy into this round. They were not going to take any chances here. Eco.
G2 हगा दिया G2 ने साले हगा सी टीम है ये तो
He's keeping it close to
Yeah,
sight.
that's support
There we go.
करेगा
G2 going to recover the more prized possessions of the Guardians and bits and bobs. Yeah, and the Bulldog there too. All good.
Now the thing is, Team Liquid bought a lot of Sheriffs that round.
Yep.
They've got 4 light armors. If G2 identify that, which getting all those kills, they see the Sheriffs on the ground. This could be a time to force up into an outlaw, genuinely, for them.
I'd love to see it. Why not?
It's a weird call to make because on the one side, when you have such a buffer, 10 to 4, it's like just take the bonus here,
Sure.
build up your economy. That's totally fine. But this could have just been the nail in the coffin had they gone for it.
Here.
What a course correction for G2 this would be. After what was probably a real sour game for them. Coming back into this and looking like they were really on the money. This is dreamy. But they even make it hurt now for Liquid. They have the better guns on the Liquid side. They should have everything they need. But once again, into this retake scenario.
A lot of good utility for G2 to play with. Multiple flashes for this fight into Garage and the teleport out with an early kill. G2 can now fall back into long because there's no smokes.
Yeah, that was just profound aggression, and it works wonders, leaving just Liquid, as said, down to 4, struggling uphill. G2 making it hurt, turning the screws. As Patatek gonna face the music on 23 HP, and Kamek by his side, but how are you meant to deal with this? You can't. You know you can't. Time is going to be going as a little unlucky on the time, but it doesn't matter. They're going to make it to 11 on this round. This is more than the first nail in the coffin. This is the gateway to the map, pretty much.
That is just brutal. I mean, how many flashes do G2 have just continually fighting into Garage? Kamek needs to keep this rifle online. Just to be a potential hero, and he does.
Lucky boy.
The faintest sighs of relief for Team Liquid.
Christ, look at the money now
Sentinel
for
वाले हंस
G2.
रहे हैं
3
ना?
back-to-back rounds. You
चलो
don't
अच्छा हुआ
often
हम
see
वाले
that. Liquid are on
के
the
ऐसे मर
ropes
गए।
here in map 1.
And this is
Enemy
the
ऐसे
absolute
मौत
worst
मरते।
feeling as a coach, too. You've
वो
played
क्या
3
क्या
rounds,
क्या
and you have to call a
यार।
timeout. You have nothing to go on.
तो यार
You've seen a
देखिए।
pistol and eco, just these, like, random C hits. You don't
हंस
have
रहे
anything
हैं।
other than looking at the forecast your next few rounds. How do we get ultimates to play with? How do we win this
ये
big
कर
swing
दिया,
round for us?
ये कर दिया।
Hey, this is the G2 we wanted, right? I think you said it well at the start, that if anyone asked you head-to-head between these two teams at the start of this tournament, everyone would have gone for G2, right? It was the logical option in most people's minds. And it was that one upset, that one strange game it felt where the stars aligned, the Liquid looked beyond their means by a long shot, right? We saw the best of some of these players. Now, there's nothing saying they can't do it again, but they're on 4 rounds, and G2 have come out looking like they should. They are one of the most favoured teams here. They are arguably the favoured team. You could throw EG in there, you could throw Vitality in there, sure. But pound for pound, they should be putting up 11 rounds to the likes of Liquid. This is much, much better from G2.
In fact, they turned it
वो भी
around
4-11
after
से
losing the
आना था
pistol.
तो
There was
0-11 से
few
आना।
scrappy rounds early on in the half. They've just been completely lights out. And genuinely, I'm really happy with how Jonah P has stepped up in a lot of these eco rounds, and
Hands
Jogamo as well, because I think Jogamo got completely shut out in that series back versus EDG. But now Team Liquid, everything riding on them to keep competitive in this opener.
Now we kind of get into the rougher end of this for Liquid 2. Their buy now going to be shattered, right? They can get some bits and pieces, but it's Kamik's Vandal that is their prized possession.
Right walk.
Well, that's bold from Padatek, and it's laboured, but it's got the job done. Leaf is removed.
I think ये round
just
आया।
got-
Towards A.
Yeah, you've got Nats playing up towards heaven, trying to get a kill off the trip, but there's too much utility to break the trips. Yoru is just unfair. Easily dealt with the flood coming quick.
Yeah, they've got to make this one work, though. Padatek going to put his life on the line for it. Pressure starting to mount now. Nats dives in, head first. He takes the fight, but Trent again in these critical rounds. Trent comes alive. I can't stress it enough. But an ace?
ट्रेंड
No.
है तो कुछ भी हो
Full minute to
सकता
play
है।
with, but that spike
अगर ये
is in a
लिक्विड हार
bad
गई,
way.
Oh, yeah.
ये लिक्विड हार गई राउंड।
The thing is, when he goes to the
मैं
exec,
लाइव पे कह रहा हूँ।
he has the missiles, he's got a stun to play with.
क्या ही
Camo
कर
and Kiko
सकते हैं।
are stacked. There's a world.
Yeah.
किसी
I've
भी
heard the story of
अभी
the
जो
Trent
लाइव स्ट्रीम कर रहा
1v5,
होगा ना
started off
उसके
with two
लाइव पे
Sure.
जाके मैं
kills.
100
He was down to
सुपर चैट
79
दूंगा।
HP. Almost full
अगर ये
util left
लिक्विड
it.
हार गई तो
And then he goes for that play out of from sewer, the spike. Awful
और ये हार गई तो
position.
मेरी जिंदगी में लिक्विड को सपोर्ट
When
नहीं
comes in,
करूँगा।
it wasn't this round, actually.
Right,
it was
yeah.
a different one.
It was
But
that other one.
it was the
हमारा
other one.
भाई का prediction कभी
Hey,
गलत नहीं होता
lifeline for
बे।
Liquid, right? They needed that.
It was probably around you playing Sova on
Yeah.
Ascent.
That's
Is
the
usually
one.
the
That's
trend
the one.
1v5. But genuinely, okay, so Team Liquid, what have we seen from them in that round that
And
gives us a little more
कल
faith?
जो
It's that
powerful
mid-walk,
था
right?
आज मूड
I think one of the things playing the Spies is you have a little bit less like scouting control over mid-space than you do with a Killjoy turret or a Cypher camera, those types of things. So maybe a small theme Team Liquid have identified, trying to flush out that space. Looking this next round too, they've got 3 players ready to fight there as well.
Might be the right shout though, but Jaw without ult is going to be an issue, right? He's got that stinger nice and close as well.
जग में मैं उल्टे
Any
पे
America's hands looks good. Kiko doesn't want to leave this, but he's going to have his
Nice.
That saved him. I thought he was dead for sure. Surely Kiko was going
What?
to die there.
क्या
but
हुआ
no.
बे?
But now pallet stations, utilities coming in, a dash to the side, counter ult. It's an absolute mess. Kamek even taking down Camo and Jonah P putting them in their graves. What the hell has just happened? I couldn't tell you. But Palitek and Kamek, the only 2 alive, split on the map, but an opportunity beckons, takes away Trent. Now we've got to see a response from Paddy too. He's got to take some space here, but look at Jonah P's position.
Oh, yeah.
It is stunning. Offsets the time, wins the fight. He's basically won the round. Kamek's going to have to go nuclear in this. Util Porons there, and they're not going to
There's a
engage
stun
with him.
back up,
Look
like,
at this.
It's not gonna happen. G2
What?
somehow see through the pandemonium
What the
on that.
hell,
I mean,
guys?
double
क्या
tail
round
ults.
था ये?
Valorant's trying to just dance around both things. Jonah P is spamming people through smokes.
भाग भाई
It's just a little bit wild.
Just a touch. That's what. Good luck
ये
understanding this.
इसका अल्ट इसकी अल्ट की लगा
Okay,
ली
Junken's team stunned there, coming out of the ult a little bit early.
इसने अल्ट
And
मारा
they still
जहाँ
win the
पे
round,
अस्त्रा
even through all
वो
of that.
ब्लाइंड थी वहाँ पे अस्त्रा ले चुका था वो अल्ट पे
Next way, yeah, okay, he's just shooting.
Must be nice. This is not a good look for Valorant.
अगर ये
In
राउंड
general,
निकाल
I think there was,
देती
again, there's going to be that League of Legends co-streamer
GG
having a
हो
watch,
जाएगा,
having a giggle.
GG,
That's not going to go
GG
well,
वैसे
and I
भी
don't
हो
think
जाएगा।
I saw a single one of those kills all through smokes. Right, redemption in
अबे
this
का
one.
अल्ट था,
Liquid
सही
needs to
चला।
now, or it might be never. Already a 2-for-1
हाँ,
trade
ये
out,
बस
and
खाली जगह
G2
में को
straight
उतार
up
दो
with the upper hand.
I
ये
mean,
राउंड
Team
आ
Liquid
चुका है
just
तुम्हारे
effectively
पास
ran
जैन
the
को ले
same
लिया
play
है
3 rounds in a row out of the timeout. G2
में
aren't going to be fooled again.
What are you meant to do, right? What are you meant to do?
Well, now that you're down in numbers, you almost have to sort of act out a little bit.
Sure, rat around somewhere, try and find something, I guess, lower percentile. That's not going to do it. G2 looks so in the driving seat. Nats and Kiko, yeah, probably some of the two heavy hitters from this team. People have looked at these two as the ones to be able to bring them back to the forefront. John did not care. 13-5. It's a dominant display from G2, and that is message sent.
Just beautiful Valorant from John Jonah. Fantastic work between the two. On the defensive side, locking it down, jaws off was excellent. And once G2 realized that Team Liquid would just go, 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 they slowed down the rounds, they knew exactly what was going on, they had Team Liquid's number.
इसके बेस्ट मोमेंट देखते हैं अपन इसका सबसे वायरल वीडियो कौन सा है ये नहीं देखने अपन को देखना है शॉर्ट्स मोस्ट पॉपुलर कौन सा था एस मारा है किसने मारा है
It seems just so impossible, so improbable.
If he gets these two around this corner, though,
might still want to try to go for it. The push out, time on a crystal, plays it patiently. He swings back in with 12 seconds, and they can just scatter to the wind. The fault line will connect. He's got the spike. He's going to TP across the map. Can he get it in time? It's going to be so damn close, but I believe he has it. It's scary. He might just be able to bring this back from the brink. I believe he wanted the TP up into heaven, couldn't make it happen, sends down the smoke. But my God, what a position to be in. Unthinkable.
certainly not Achilleos. Certainly not. Ooh, counter TP here from Tornico.
Oh, but cancels it. He's gonna check one. Gets the headshot. He gets the ice. Scary. The hometown hero. It seems just.
This son. A 1v2 swaps the weaponry around. The players are low. A single bullet on either of them. It might be enough. It could be enough. The horn drops. Position.
स्कैरी का गलत सीन था बे बहुत ही गलत था बहुत ही गलत था नो गाइस दैट्स द ब्रूटल ब्रो चाय पी लेते हैं अपन
up some micro. So it's just a matter of like easing into the game. We tend to do that in some of these like stage games so far. Like, so once we're warming up a little bit, getting used to our like teammate comms, we were just flowing. So yeah, I mean, it was just again reiterating trusting your teammates.
So it should be smooth sailing from here on.
Hopefully.
Well, good luck to you guys.
I mean, G2 looked extremely comfortable on that map. I am your hosting, so I'm back here with Kakuka and Mimi. Given how the way that the map started, are you surprised on how it ended?
A little bit, because Team Liquid, I thought they came out with a really good read going into a lot of these B hits, fighting forward in the post flank, but Josh called that timeout. The players warmed up, and they just kept that momentum rolling through the rest of the half.
Yeah, and it's so important to understand like the way that Team Liquid was repeating maybe the same plan time and time again, and I do think that the timeout changed things up a little bit because it's also like relying on the composition and your strengths as a team, and as I said with the comp as well, that gave them what they needed to close that out.
You gotta love a Josh RT timeout. I feel like it always works out for them, but that brings us to our Verizon high-speed moment. We talked about how Jogamo wasn't performing as much as we wanted him to, and he is here turning up.
Yeah, this is a 1v2 that I thought he played really, really well. TPing away, sending a TP over towards A as well, and then full walking back to the position he was just in. And you see here, Kamek just looking the complete other direction, expecting Jaw to come from that TP. And it's little things like that that are getting Jaw a lot of his kills in kind of this year for him with G2. It's not the double satcheling in, flashy raise plays, but what he brings to the team is really consistently well thought out ideas with the Euro and those occasional big flashy rounds still as well.
Yeah, exactly, and I think time and time again we were seeing Team Liquid just repeat and just go into B, and I feel like G2 got the idea most of the times, and they were delayed so much just because they didn't want to face the rest of the utility that was planted all over the map that I think they got a little bit lost there.
Yeah, there was a few rounds, right? Liquid just looked a little bit lost, but G2, they fully capitalized on that. We have a round 10 here, and also Jonah P is playing out of his mind.
Absolutely. I think that, as you're saying, he's playing brilliantly. Is at the beginning, this kind of utility plus the peak challenging what Kamo was doing. Yes, finding the kill. This happened in many, many rounds, and then just thinking about like G2, Team Liquid thinking about that plan B became so complicated because on one side of the map you have Yogemo with the TP out and the operator, and once they get to A, they see also that the device utility is put on there, and just the delaying from G2 makes it an unwinnable round for them.
Yeah, G2 do a really good job, I think, of providing enough pressure on other parts of the map to force teams into these vice sites late on. But you mentioned Team Liquid doing the same rounds. After losing this round 10, they went back into a similar idea. Lurk up towards B, look for a hit there, lose a player, late A exec into the Vice utility. And there was quite a few rounds here where they were going for those late execs into the Vice's site and honestly getting cooked. But the guy doing the damage in mid was Jonah P. I loved how he would get aggressive at times in that area of the map, peeking in, protecting the Vice wall, getting his pick or two, and then playing into the percentage play of going for the retake with the rest of the team.
How dire is the situation for Liquid as we move on to map 2?
I think the most concerning thing, I think that we mentioned it quite a bit, is the throwing up the advantages. Even though we're speaking about, oh, G2 getting the first kill, this and that, in most of the occasions it was actually Team Liquid getting the opener and just not being able to capitalize on that. G2, as we're saying, relying more on their plans and just making it look good for themselves, understanding their winning conditions. So now moving on to Lotus as the second map, it might make things difficult for Liquid.
Well, I want to see what Coach Lohan had to say ahead of map 2.
Hey guys, I'm here right now with Lohan of Team Liquid. Now, I wanted to ask about the famous Nat speeches, and how do you see these words, impact the players during really dire rounds, during really important moments, and how do you see the team transform after hearing them?
It's a great leader, honestly, inside and outside of the server. I think he's a reference for the boys, and I think if there's someone that can pull the boys up after this game, it's him, and I fully trust him that he will be able to do it, 100%.
It's really showing in the game, so best of luck to the team.
I see why they all have a lot of trust in Nats as well, because this is a very, very difficult task for him now. The comp that they showed yesterday, the Lotus that they had to play Mimi, just wasn't the best.
It was actually really good on the attack side, but defense fell apart. I think that they really struggled to find the right rotations on that side of the map. They were getting ran over on their C site a lot, but the attack did have really good macro. I think Nats was calling good rounds there, but I do expect that this is a map that Team Liquid expected to see in the series from G2, and I expect it'll be something that they put a lot of attention on after losing it in their last series.
But now the question still is, how much trust did they have on winning that first map? Because that Haven was their map pick, and as we're saying, we're not only confident in the chances for Team Liquid, it's also how well G2 plays this map, Mimi.
They're incredible here, and no surprises.
Oh my god!
I said that for G2.
Yes.
It's a neon for camo.
Okay, I absolutely love this because it brings us back to how important is the meta and how it balances out with the comfortability of players.
Yeah, and this is what I kind of expected from Camo a little bit before, because we talked about how he has never played some of the agents they had to run here, but he has played the Neon here before on Lotus, and he looked really, really good doing it.
And this is a great change-up against G2. They're one of the few teams that doesn't run the Sentinel, that doesn't run the Vice. A lot of their defensive game plan is around fast lobby takes with all of the utility they have in this comp. Neon can slide past that, circumvent it, and completely change the pace of the game for Team Liquid. It's do or die for them, and I think this is a great decision going into Lotus.
Absolutely, and talking about them being in sync with Kamek, with Patitek, I want to see the same things that we see on Abyss in terms of gameplay.
Well, the road to get here for Liquid has not been easy. It's been a long one. Pansy and Ender, if they want to keep their playoff streams alive, they have to win on Lotus.
It has been an arduous task to get here for Liquid, but now you are facing off against some of the best in the world. G2 coming out on map 1 looking lethal. However, Liquid have adjusted things here. Whether or not we think it's enough, we'll probably find out mostly in the second half.
I mean, genuinely, yeah, I'm excited to see what those execs are going to start looking like on the attack side of things, but I think what this speaks to me for Team Liquid is a very heavy anti-prep, right? Mimi's touching on it, how good the Neon can be against no Senti, and the lack of necessarily needing a Yoru, but really to me, this is reminding me of what the first half of Haven looked like, with all these aggressive plays. They had a read, they had a game plan. And I think for Team Liquid, what's important is the game plan sticks early and they adjust as G2 continue to mix things up.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy to put G2 into that box, though. Again, they have been at the receiving end of what it feels like to play against an aggressive Neon. You know, hopefully they forget map 3 and recent enough series.
I'm trying to push that out of my mind, personally.
But for G2, they faced this problem. They didn't do well at facing it before. They were brought down to their knees, but I don't know if Liquid have that capability, that level to go to, because I feel like we're back in reality, right? The game just gone against Sen, we saw what could be with Liquid. You know, that was the highest potential from them, an absolute thriller of a game. But reality hits you quick, right? You're brought right back down to earth. And G2 have a point to prove. A lot of people put a lot of question marks at them after that performance against EDG. Map 1, they were writing at least my worries. But whether or not they can make it happen in map 2, we're about to find out.
G2 have never had this high of expectations coming into a global event. Always been the second seed, but they finally won in Americas. Now it's about sending it home. Making it into the top 4 is the sole Americas representative sticking in.
So coming in, G2 on the attacking side, of course, meaning Liquid on the defense, and that Neon doesn't quite have that same impact, but I wonder if Liquid would like to play that as maybe a little bit of flavor to this.
It's interesting, G2 waiting for the aggression, waiting for Team Liquid to overplay their hand. But eventually they've got to do something, and they're going to move back over into a C-trap.
They might be rattled after what happened on that last map, having the right read, but sadly couldn't stick the landing. But now, step for step, mirroring the rotation.
It's a great adjustment from G2, moving over into the A site, and Baby Door not broken, I don't believe, so Kamek's going to rotate back into spawn. That should be G2 getting onto this site. Not too difficult. 2 players going to jump in for TL.
But I'm looking at this flank as well for Camo. That lack of Sentinel will be a factor. He can get behind them fast. But can Liquid hold down the site? Kamek getting a little baited by that one, but blinded as well. Little to be done. Patitek and Nats spinning on a dime. Liquid this time, making it count. Trent a mile away, the flank is in. Liquid claim the first. And again, step by step, match those rotations just right.
Where did that come from? G2 find the opener on the side hit, then Nats, Patitek.
Liquid आ चुका है, एक point ले चुका है Liquid ने.
Okay.
G2 avoided that early stack. Yeah, I want to see this again because Nats didn't really have much of a chance, but yeah, okay, Attack just holding Nats' left while Nats can deal with the right. Those two guys shoulder to shoulder, not going to shut them down.
And I do quite like what Liquid did, almost herding them straight through towards A, right positioning for it. And a very similar beginning. Again, this kind of 2-2-1, leaving Nats hyper passive on that A site, willing to let the site go.
Yeah, you don't see the Neon all the time on this map anymore, but when you play, especially play B, it means very fast rotates into both A and C. Again, we're seeing Nats play off-site, wait for his teammates to get over, and look to jump back down.
Oh dear, these sites are not
Nats
looking
ले
all
गया
accessible
Nats
right
ने
now.
दो ले लिए
And now Jonah P and Leaf gonna try and put something
अब
together, make
Nats
it a little
अपने
costly,
full
get
form
warmed
में full
into this
potential
one.
में
You're
खेलेगा
not looking likely to convert the round, and especially in Leaf's position here. Spike left very far away. If you could do a bit of damage, that'd be very
Nats ने
nice.
वाइपर लेने हैं यार
Nice from
ये
Leaf too. I think he had used the
initiative
height of the
इसको
cage
जरूरत
to
ही
give
नहीं है
himself a
जो
little
खेलता
path
है
to drop on down with. So Leaf finally ends up getting spotted here. Quick rotate from Team Liquid,
लिफ्ट
already
कर
working wonders for
दे
them.
लिफ्ट अगर मार देगा इन चारों को
See G2 really start to slow down the pace of these
तो
rounds
फिर
after
यहाँ
getting
से ही
punished,
लिक्विड को
accelerating in.
दे देनी पड़े
Yeah,
G2
Leaf's
को
gonna run into a
फाइनल्स की
high-low.
जगह
Yeah, fun times.
इतना तो
Nice.
आसानी से तो नहीं देगी
But look, map one, it kind of felt like
लड़ेगी
this a little bit, right? We were like,
लड़ेगी
oh, Liquid looked really good.
अगर
Wow, they've got some
लिक्विड
great
जीरो से
ideas.
हरा देवे
And then
G2
G2
को
took that one
भाई
timeout and it was
साहब
like, well, game's over. That's map done. Brilliant.
अनप्रिडिक्टेबल रिकॉर्ड बन जावे कोई प्रिडिक्ट ही नहीं किया होगा इस रिकॉर्ड मैं कर रहा हूँ अगर हो गया तो 1 million
And
सब्सक्राइबर
you know, we heard Josh RT sort of talking in his
और ये जीरो से
interview
हार
there about
सकता
how
है
G2 can
तुमने
sometimes
10
be a
मिनट
little
कर
bit slower
सकता
to
है 1
start
महीने
before
के
they sort of get the read on their opponents. One thing he's great at is
10
calling those
billion.
timeouts and then having exactly the right read.
नेट्स कितने 3 किल पे
TL,
नेट्स
what their opponents are going to be doing. Here there's
छप्पन पे
TL
नेट्स को देखने
playing
हैं
very light on this C side. Camo's trying to show there to say, hey, it could still be that trap play, and then bait G2 to finish into A like they have the last 2 rounds.
Do they do it? Jewel's gonna get building towards ult, that's fine. And it's a very different setup as well. Door, not in the same sort of look. Different utility setup as well from Liquid. Heavier emphasis, at least towards that initial B approach. Wondering if Nats does adjust. He's gonna be caught out in a little bit of an uncomfortable spot here. Nearly got punished, does get away. But it's very indicative of this A approach is happening now.
Yeah, it's tough for TL because I think they overthought it a little bit, rotated over into C, didn't think G2 would do the same thing 3 rounds in a row, but they have.
Waiting as Kiko can get out from this as well.
Kiko
Nice.
भाई क्या ही
Still playing around on the side too. Turns the flash, but he can't get some full safety. Wait, hold on. He's still alive. And Liquid
नेट्स ने
falling
मारा
back
है
on
भाई
the side.
जगह को
G2
वाह ओ
just defending, banking on Jonah P to save
नेट्स
them.
दिन
And he
दौड़ा
couldn't do
गाइस
enough.
नेट्स अपने फुल पावर में आ चुका है
G2 I felt had that in
क्या
hand.
मारा है वे
It's just
नेट्स ने
deja vu, apparently.
What the hell?
3 rounds in a row. Once again, Team Liquid trying to drop into that site quickly. This time it's
दूसरे को
Kiko
तीसरे
with
को
the outlaw.
वाह यही तो देखना था
How's he finding
यही
this
तो
space as well?
देखना
Look
था
at this.
नेट्स
I mean,
को यही नेट्स
getting
को
all
देखना
through,
था
yeah,
इसके
that's
लिए तो
lovely,
मैंने
but
आज
still
लाइव पे
finding
आया
that space to work here.
Exactly, he's putting himself in the right spot by
You are
going
the
all the way up
goaty
flush
player,
against the wall.
guys.
He's
Goaty.
much earlier on the angle to arrive, so G2 aren't, slowly trying to clear him out. He just gets pushed
भाई
completely
अगर
out.
नेट्स ऐसे ही खेलता रहा ना G2 को मुंह आ
This is really
जाएगी भगा
dangerous.
देगा भगा
This
से
could
हो
be a
जाएगा
lost
G2
vandal here, but do they check? They absolutely do. Very diligent
Bravo.
from G2, punishing these positions that have worked well for Liquid.
Still, they don't want to overcommit into this B side. Team Liquid are here again, so quick to move on the map. But it does mean they leave their C site a little weak, their A site weak too. So now that the ultimate comes in from Jogamo, he's going to realize that it's a very passive setup from Team Liquid on C.
Yeah, still holding towards Waterfall, still holding
इसका
towards
अगर अल्ट
CT.
काम हो गया ना इसके अल्ट का
Jaw's gonna see. Gets. Oh, he commits!
भाई
Outrageous goes for it on
नेट्स
towards
था
Kiko.
वरना
I
वो
guess he
2 को
had
ले
to at that
जाता
point, but traded in. Now they can start fighting
जगह
back
बहुत
towards
बुरा
site.
इंसान
They're
है
gonna clear
इनका
through
यूरो
site
है ना
itself,
बहुत
excluding Trent. You can't forget about Trent, but it's Jonah P up in the feed, waiting for a victim. Was not outdone by Valorant.
क्या हो
And
गया
again,
ये
G2 on these bonuses. But I mean, bonuses half
पल में
by
पासा
as
पलट गया बे
Stingers
पूरा
come out on top.
I
यार
am
नेट्स
scratching my
किससे
head a
मरा
little
मैंने
bit
देखा ही
because it's
नहीं
oddly reminiscent
Why does it feel like
of
map one?
Haven.
Yeah.
Right, Team Liquid come out with a great read. They know exactly what to do to beat G2, and then all of a sudden it's G2 with a MasterCard Thrifty stealing away around.
That feels like a really big identifier, right? Starting to see what's happening towards B, these fast rotations. This is big info they're gathering, and they convert the round.
Exactly, fusing the breach Tejo there as well to push the player out of B main, knowing that there's a little bit of gap to work with, so get the shots down.
पिछली गेम देखी है तुमने जो T1
getting to the meat of things.
कहाँ था?
Gonna see Guardians, yeah, so Camo and
पूरा dominate कर रहा था.
This is the real test round for Team Liquid because they've changed their setup. Now it's Camo solo A. It's been solo in a couple of these rounds.
वो तो अपन match करेंगे.
It's all right. As long as he's good on that first contact. And the difference for Team Liquid is they're not showing really any forward presence. The only forward line they're holding is Camo over here, and you'd expect there to be two players behind him.
You can see them wanting to identify where G2 currently are heading towards, getting nothing off the Teo utility, and Camo, that's enough. That's more than enough information to try and back away. You don't want to outstay your welcome. Falls deeper towards site.
I imagine this time Baby Door is broken. So Team Liquid threatening maybe a little bit deeper of a trap play over towards that A site. G2 have decided just to embed Leaf.
This is such a lovely, almost blind dance with each other, right? These pieces of util invested here and there, trying to draw those rotations around the map.
These are the rounds G2 love to play. Get the perfect read against their opponents. They can use this clone to break the tripwire in the choke. But again, Team Liquid have a couple of guys here to stop them.
Yeah, we saw that heavier emphasis towards C, towards that B side, leaving just that one man. Camo over towards A. G2 trying to just brute force it, I guess. Have to respect the util again. A good little stall, 20 seconds. Flank potential. They were towards C, didn't go CT.
They're gonna go
through door, and they're gonna run it. They have to. I guess they were getting no luck towards that B site.
They're
running low on time. It's a little bit deadly. They don't have the full information, but they have to take a gamble.
It's a brilliant call from Valen, realizing the fast rotate from Team Liquid. But check this out, Jonah P stepping forward into stairs. He gets the first kill, but shut down quickly by Camo.
Nice trade there. Not gonna let that get too far, but man advantage still with Liquid. Very deep post marks. Look at the util they have. Trent gonna have util. Leaf has util. Valen can play a little closer, play a little further forward.
That's gonna be such a problem from the space, though, and Valen doesn't clear him away.
And away you go with the salvos, but no! Look at little
क्या
vintage
देख
again
लिया?
the time. Leaf can
क्या
buy
मिस हुआ
time.
था
He
वो
does
लेकिन
need to
कितना
go
अच्छा
nuclear,
लग
and the stun's there. They're just running him down.
गया
Defuse needs to come in. All good this time. Right?
Nice.
Yeah, all good, all good.
Right? Don't do it to me again, but let's kind of talk about that round, because it felt like it was all in the
इसको भी
shadows,
एक
right?
इसको भी लगा कि मैं बहुत सही वाला लगा हुआ है
हग
दिया था भाई नेट्स ने हग दिया था हग दिया
but then sticking the landing, that nice pivot
हग दिया था
so much
पूरा
out
हग
of that
दिया
round.
था
Exactly right.
बच गया
G2's
वो
macro, I think, is perfect because now
उसने
Valen is
दूसरे किल ने
identifying
कवर कर लिया
Team
उसने
Liquid
हगना
are
उसका
over-rotating
अगर
to
वो
a certain
दूसरा किल
extent,
में वो
right?
मर
They're
जाता
always getting bodies on site. Every time
उसको
G2
रात को
exit,
यही आता
they
फिर
see
भी
3,
हार
4,
जाता है ना
sometimes
तो
5
अगर ये
people.
हार गए
So he
बाई
realizes,
चांस उसको
okay,
यही
we're
दिमाग
over towards A, we can move into
क्या
that
हगा
side of the map. The
हगा सा
problem
हो
was,
गया
because that rotate went
ब्रेक
through
ले
Baby
लिया
Door, because
ब्रेक
that
ले
door's been
लिया
broken
ब्रेक
down,
ले लिया
that
रे
is going to be a
इस मैं क्या बोलता हूँ ये सब आउट ऑफ इंडिया की एक टीम है लेकिन उसमें भी प्लेयर इंडियन नहीं है तो ऐसा कुछ करो यार इंडियन टूर्नामेंट होनी चाहिए इसे मेरे को करनी है लेकिन सपोर्ट नहीं है फॉर 1 लिक्विड 4 है G2 1 है क्या ही हो सकता है इस गेम में कुछ भी हो सकता है कुछ भी कुछ कह नहीं सकते इस गेम में कुछ कह नहीं सकते
I would imagine. So honestly, JoshRT has been so effective calling these timeouts, having the right read. And it's those identifiers, right? Where it's not just fixing the next round, it's solving the next 3-4 rounds. We've seen so many of these, 4-player setups, these trap setups, front B towards C. But that last round was different, right? Finally, we saw a look with Camo playing up into rubble. There weren't players behind him that time around. But I think G2, if they do earlier scouting, that will sort of unlock whether or not it's going to be that neon trap setup BC or a heavier rubble fight.
I just feel like I'm waiting with bated breath to see what the masterminds come up with, right?
Well, the thing is, right, they see the neon sun over towards A, they see the
मेरे को
Kamik
पसंद ही नहीं
missiles
है
as well,
साला
so
चल
it's time to speed up on a C hit potential.
But I've never seen Liquid go this deep. They've never gone this far. Leaf's in trouble. They disrespected Camo once more. Now slowed down and held back. Trent and Jonah P with the revenge.
Trent
Get the trade to
ने
get
अपनी
the man to the good and punish this aggression.
बूढ़ी कर दी भाई.
G2, they still got a minute and 10 seconds, and they've left Giacomo towards C. This is
Kiko,
something they love to do. His
तेरी
TP isn't very deep,
Kiko
it's
मारू
just to
कुछ
send
तो
him,
कर.
you know, a little bit back towards sand. Wait for this re-aggro into mid.
Net,
Just
so
gonna
wow,
get the trade on through.
good,
But still,
good,
now
good,
G2
goody
realizing
gamer,
that
goody
still if it
gamer.
works things a little bit, can move back into Jaw.
So they know where both players are now, right? They know where Nats is, they know where Kiko is. Jaw doesn't need to do too much, right? You just kind of hold the space you got, make sure you facilitate that cross, get that spike in safely.
It's a good angle.
Oh, wait. Kiko's still on for this one. Yeah, he is! Kiko takes away Jaw, the safety net now removed.
Where is
He's
Nat?
starting to feel a bit more threatened here. As Nat's
Why you
closed in
can't
already,
see
is he on the
this?
flank? Where the hell have they gone?
And Kiko puts the
Hey,
smoke
don't
in
plant
center
it,
sight,
don't
so
plant
again,
it, don't
he could
plant
be
it,
moving
don't-
around. He could be trying to flank. Sticking this plant here is risky.
That feels really unnerving, right? Your palms getting a little sweaty. Trent
भाई बहुत
still
सही
close
जाने
to
वाला.
sight.
अगर ये
Same
round
with
निकल दिया
Valorant, they're
Liquid
not
ने.
taking too many risks. And
Wow,
there's no
एक
reward that time.
एक
But can Nats again clutch up here? Valen
हो
on the
जाएगा
other
हो जाएगा
side.
हो जाएगा हो
Plenty to
जाएगा हो
play
जाएगा.
with. Lovely work from Valen. It felt so uncomfortable, but he finds crystal clear clarity at the end.
I was wondering who was going to be able to 1v1 Nats. It's going to be the IGL for G2. What a round. Again, cool early aggro piece from Team Liquid.
हो
Speeding
जाता
up
है
on the
यार.
flank. I think G2 have done so well to wait and
नहीं
pause
नहीं
and
वो
feel out
ओविन
that
कब
aggression,
मरा?
that late
कैसे
swing
मरा?
in
किसने
the
मारा?
middle of the
हाँ
rounds.
अच्छा.
They figured out Team Liquid's tendencies now.
That's a big round too, right? That's got to get them.
I mean, you could too if you wanted.
But not wrong. But a huge round for the momentum swing as well. Down to bits and bobs. The money not great for Liquid now. You can see how close these rounds have been. It's broken so quickly. And of course, for the other side for G2, it's a nice mental reset, right? Starts feeling reminiscent of Haven. Started to feel like you've got that nice approach, but. In all honesty, though, Liquid also had a similar timeout, of course, in essence, because they can talk during the same one that G2 called. So for them here, I like them going aggressive in that timeout. It kind of keeps a little unknown. I don't mind them being disruptive.
And then to go for this more passive setup. Now, G2 have actually dodged this play. It's a fake hit into C. But what this ult does is it pulls Team Liquid. They had a 4-player trap going off the Cypher camera on A. And now the Spike can slowly walk in and move onto that side of the map as G2 leave Giacomo on the site. That's no problem. Actually, he's going to TP back over to A now.
That's check the cam. Yeah, he does. There's something weird going on, right? Like, but you are being pulled around the map. It's just.
Sorry, I'm sorry. It's not Jaw that's going to be inserted B. It's going to be Jonah P.
But of course.
Yeah, there's always that late lurk.
But of course. Ooh, okay, suddenly this round doesn't feel so kind of
Ult
flat.
पे
You've got
है,
to invest it
कामो
all here, but
ult
this time
पे
it runs out pretty
है.
quick, right? You got to get moving on this. If you want to get some value, you got to get going, and you're going to get nothing. And there's that flag. Oh, that's crispy from Jonah
Nets.
P. Good trade right back.
What the
here.
fuck?
Okay, look, I'm not out of this round yet. Make me a believer in something here, Liquid, because it's looking like it's going to be solid from G2. They needed a secure round. They're going to get a secure
लूडो
round.
खेलो लूडो. साला वो ult पे था मर गया.
That would have been real nice if there were more players left on site to maybe swing off of that, but that's a major investment.
That's huge.
In a 1v3.
Huh. A little surprised. I mean, I guess you could say
बेचारा नेट रो
theirs,
रहा है
but
यार.
I mean that sold the whole fake,
Well,
right?
look.
That got you a whole
Yeah.
round. That's fine. That's completely acceptable. This felt about 10 seconds too late.
But you got to. It's such a high pressure situation, right? You know, life on the line in the tournament. You're already down one map. Sometimes you get in these situations where you feel like you've got to be a hero.
Sure. Going runabouts. Having a one
साले का
tap.
ult आ ही जाता है. फट ult आ जाता है
Maybe
बे
door
इसका.
broken for him. That's nice.
Oh, that B site is looking absolutely
What a
vulnerable.
top
He's going to
fake,
try
guys.
and set this up and really secure it.
Wait,
This is going to be an absolute muddy round. Paddy's just going to go in
Viper
for it.
का
Trent's going to
ult
find
है.
Canic. Good luck finding any of these kills.
गया round
Jaw
गया
all in
मेरे को
unison,
मालूम
and in the chaos, G2 looking composed, and Liquid left once again in a similar scenario, not having the answers. G2 now right back in the game at 4 apiece.
Can we check if that's the fastest round in Masters?
don't.
Because that was
Ridiculous.
maybe 25 seconds.
How I
Absolutely
feel
mental. Just sending it
today.
flying into the site after G2 run a fake exec, after they played all these slow rounds.
After DRX.
Finally increasing the pace.
And
I'm a little bit shocked too, because again, Team Liquid had 4 players here ready to flood into that site.
both are
But all
useless.
chewed up by the Viper's pit, by the snake bite. Just not meant to happen.
Just like my English. is useless.
That's a string around starting to form here, right? Like
अंतर मंतर जादू मंतर
similarities
लिक्विड
are
जीत जाए
eerie.
G2 हार जाएगी 5 स्टार बन जाए
unnerving, but this is again
Sentinel
where we
होती
compliment G2, their depth, their ability to adapt, to
तो क्या कुछ और
identify.
होता
And I want to be able to say the same thing for Liquid, but
वो
so
सब
far
बात
haven't
होगी
seen that. The
इस
money
मैच
has
के
been an
बाद
issue. Obviously here as well, down to the Sheriffs. And
Nets
clean rounds are something you don't
अपनी
seem to
गोटी
get this
गेम पे
often.
दिखाएगा
A luxury you're not afforded. And there is a player
Nets
showing
सभी
over
अपनी
towards A.
गोटी गेम
That's
प्ले
hanging out by the door.
Don't
Just
forget there's
wait,
rolling thunder
bro.
here. Could find some kind of opener. There could be a chance, but look at their macro. G2's macro is just next level. It's all about leaving these inserts that hear all the rotates. They know Team Liquid don't have sticky feet. They're running all over the map. They're making noise. Valen is playing with his food right now. I'm not even kidding.
कामे के लो कामो लो
Liquid have no idea what's going on, right? This just feels really uncomfortable. Nat's still over towards A. There's a lurk already ahead of him. Valen behind them.
तो खेलने ही क्या है की को इस बार नहीं
G2 getting a full grip on this game, barring that one shot coming in from Kamek. Cool, but the round's looking like it's G2 flavored from start to end.
Yeah, Team Liquid like, where's
Nets
Leaf?
के
We
होते
just
हुए
already
कुछ
killed
नहीं उखाड़
Nats
पा
over
रहे
on
थे
A.
Nets
This guy
के
could be
बिना
coming in
क्या
everywhere, and somehow he's just slipping around him like a ghost.
Yeah, this guy's just behind him the whole time. He's on a secret mission. Liquid just lost in this. Oh, that's lovely. Jaws on the side. They finally made it over here, but there's threats everywhere. Jaws just gets to dance around on the side. They're going to need a bit more than this. There's still Trent's ult. There's still util. If you thought he was going to get close, that should really be the final hitter if needed. It's not. G2 continue their march back into this one.
Leaf's just in their walls. Like, no matter where they look, he's going to be there. The thing is, G2 have only
Nets
played this
कैसे
map
मर रहा है
twice
बे
so
लेकिन
far
कैसे
this year.
मर
They
रहा
played
है
against C9 in kickoff. They beat Trace on it
No,
here
bro.
at the start of the event. There's
You are
not a ton of
disappointing
tape, but
me.
what you'll see on their
अभी
attacking
चालू
side is
किया
always
देखना
looking to
तेरी
embed
वजह
these
से मैंने
lurks. And you
e-sports
think about
चालू
it,
किया
it's been a
और
different
तू
player
इतनी
basically every round.
master
First we
ये
saw
सब
was
final
Jaw,
में ऐसा कर
then it was Jonah, now it's Leaf.
That's
So you
not
can't
right,
just
bro.
rely on the fact of like, oh, I didn't see this one guy.
And
There's
Nats,
no
for
lurk.
example.
Exactly. It's just
You are my
very hard to
inspiration.
read, and
It's
G2
lovely.
have the book on Team Liquid.
It's genuinely like a pleasure
वहाँ पे
to watch a team be
4-0
able to
थी,
pull
वहाँ पे
that off and
4-5,
be able to kind of
5-4
interchange that individual,
वो
be it,
5
as said,
पे
Leaf one
पहुंच
round,
गए,
Jonah P
Liquid 4
another. But it doesn't really matter. As you said, it could be any of them. So you never get any security in trying to identify where these players are. And G2's been incredibly slippery. We've been talking about their rotations. How are you meant to ever have faith in these site approaches? You always feel like they've got another player somewhere else. They're heading to another site. It's a long old rotation. Liquid, I feel like you almost have to go over aggressive and take some space somewhere, really stamp some authority on the map.
There's two schools of thought, right? One is go aggressive, always move forward, is sort of beat, so they can't be behind you. And the other is fall back into trap plays and stop over-rotating, right? Because since round one, they've just been full abandoning sites when they see G2's presence, and it worked in those early rounds when G2 were committing to the site hits. But G2 are no longer doing that, and it's really punishing Team Liquid.
And it looks like they're going back to a very early setup, right? That kind of, that's very passive towards A.
The 2C,
सामने वाले के
2B,
पास एक ही ult है
that's just their pistol.
अगर ये
Maybe a
round
little
Liquid
bit more
हार गई
passive than that.
undeserving
Kinko
थी वो
actually decides to
semi-final
take
में आने के लिए
matters into his own hands, and I kind of like it. Sometimes you've got to call up your own number. It is highly
undeserving
risky,
बोलूंगा मैं
but he's won them a fight on an
Sentinel
extremity.
भले
We
इनसे
do see
0
them
से 1 से
exploring
हारी है
towards
लेकिन
this
मैं फिर
B
भी
side. They
बोलूंगा
still
undeserving
have
लक के वजह
Leaf
से
on
जीते
the
वो
other
कल
side, so it's certainly
अगर
not
ये
without
round
an
हार
idea.
गए
Oh
Look
my
at camo
god.
spot right
3
there.
ult
No one's ready for it.
सामने वाले 2 मर चुके हैं 3 मर चुके हैं 2 ही बच्चे हैं
Two big kills and
2 ही
suddenly
बच्चे हैं
Liquid looking like they're back
2 ही
with
बच्चे
a
हैं
solid
एक
life
बच्चा है
here.
एक बच्चा है
Now
एक
just Leaf, who's been identified.
That is a nice setup. You never expect Neon just sitting in your corner with the drone going forward.
Why?
With too much pushing against him.
कैसे?
Team Liquid are on the hunt.
How?
And that's
मरना
what I wanted
जरूरी
to
था
see.
किस-
Right,
बिना मरे
finally
भी
Team
जीत सकते
Liquid
थे
not overextending,
कोई
right?
बात नहीं चलो
It's the early aggressive play
इज्जत
right
रख
from
ली
Kiko.
4
He's
ult
gonna be
हुए
the
अब
hero, and then it falls back
4
into the
ult
trap setup. You can
Liquid
do a
के
little
पास
bit
है
of both and still find those
सामने वाले के
angles
पास एक
to
ही ult
punish a team.
I think आ गया होगा अभी देख लेते हैं
Kiko though, didn't it? It was a bit like You know, it's a risky look, and I don't mind it. I don't mind it once in a while, right? You gotta,
भाई
as
ये
said, pull
ये
your
बंदा
number
है
up once in a minute. You can't
तो
feel like
liquid है
you're gonna be losing every single
वो
fight
ना
that you swing on.
मूत
But
है मूत
this
वाला
then kind of
liquid
puts G2
सामने
back,
वाले
maybe in
के
the same
पास
mentality of how they dealt with this first, but it's a further investment on player
एक ही
towards
अल्ट है
seeing
अभी भी
3
सामने
bodies
इनके
here.
पास 4 अल्ट है भाई सिर्फ तेजो को छोड़ के सबका अल्ट एक्टिव है
Here it
Oh my
goes.
god, yeah, they're going in for it. They want to fight. They want to draw blood. They are after it.
एक तो यूज
G2
हो
slip
चुका
away into
है
the night. How far would Liquid want
3
to chase
बाकी है
this? Surely no
इसमें से
further.
वुमन का तो कोई मतलब अपने पास है नहीं काम तो सामने वाला है
Leafs used this time, seeing 3 players
काम
on the
तो
C
उसका
side to
अल्ट
work into A.
सही से यूज कर
Knows
लेना
the
इस
cycle's
राउंड
gonna
में
be
जो
set up
कामो
there, so
निकाल दे
G2
वे
now
अल्ट से
testing out B, making sure no
भाई
one's in that
GG हो
corner
जाएगा
like in the last round. Could maybe even work to re-clear into
GG हो
sand
जाएगा
potentially.
They
ये
want
हार
to
गए
put the
ना भाई
pressure on that, right? Gonna force away some of this
एकदम
aggression.
मजाक हो
The
जाएगा
fake
लिक्विड के
re-clear
साथ
to sand is nice and TPing out into A. I love it.
अच्छा हुआ वाइपर का
Nats is in actually a whole lot of trouble. He's
इसका
going to
एक
try and run
अल्ट
this
इसने
side. There's
यूज
no
कर
escaping
लिया
it,
बे
looks like, but he's
कैसे
found a
मरे बे
pocket to play
कैसे
for. And he's
हाउ
going to take away Chocobo.
हाउ
But
कम
Madness on the
हाउ
site itself. Plant is not secure. Nats is still here. He's been left with his site. He's in control of it again. It doesn't matter the number or the odds. He's always good for it. Nats is
Oh, bro,
at his job.
bro, unbelievable by Nats. Salute, bro,
He's
salute.
lifting his whole team
Nats,
up.
you are a goat, man.
Nats is sitting 16-6.
भाई
I mean,
क्या
this
मारा
is
इसने?
vintage. This is
One,
peak. Back when
two,
this guy was on top of the world, he was doing stuff like this
three.
consistently, and now
four.
it's just another day at
भाई
the office
चार
for
जनों को
him.
ले गया वो.
Unbelievable.
मैं वही कह रहा
We're
हूँ
getting more
Nats
and more
अपने
glimpses
full
of it,
पोजीशन
right?
पे
You
आया
know,
है.
we saw it in that Sentinels game. We're seeing it here.
भाई
The original
G2
icon
को
of
हगाटू
the
कर
Raw.
देंगे,
It
हगाटू.
almost became like this cautionary tale of what could be, but it's been a
हगा
while
से.
since we've seen it so regularly. But back into the things here. 6-5. G2 still at the door, but a good adaptation
भाई
from
अपने
Liquid
कितना
after
knowledge
these
नहीं है
timeouts,
Valorant
but
का
it's
लेकिन
hasty here from G2. Trent could be in trouble. They
क्या
focused on fighting towards CT, but they've left
क्या?
a gap here. Trent trying to stay alive. How are they doing this? There's 4 players from Liquid on the site here. Trent's still standing. I have no idea how.
Just a mess of a round. Trent
भाई
now
Nats
calling in his
single-handedly
teammates to get back
सब
into the site,
बचा रहा
using a
है
side smoke
Liquid
for that, and he finds the opener.
इसमें केको और
Trent's
कामो
been
तो कुछ
good in all
मतलब
the
के ही
chaos
नहीं है.
before as well. Yamik and Nats trying to navigate a 2v4 is not easy. Still got a little
Nats
bit
ये
of
round
utility to play
निकाल
in, but
ले.
it's not much. And
मैं
trying to
अपनी
disrupt
टी-शर्ट
that
निकाल
deep
दूं
post
live.
plant, brutal. Yeah, you can see as to why. It's rough
यार.
by all accounts. G2
ना, ना,
close
GG
this
bro.
one down,
हर
tying
राउंड
things
Nats
up
नहीं
at
निकाल
6
सकता भाई.
apiece.
टीम को भी हेल्प करनी पड़ती
Absolutely blistering round from G2, speeding into the
को
site,
नहीं, ये सब नहीं,
overwhelming.
क्या है
And Madness as well. Team
वहाँ पे
Liquid
बंदे
flying
देखो
on
उसके
it.
सामने
These
वाले
rounds
के दो
are
बस पे.
scrappy, they're messy, but Team
Nats
Liquid
16
are
पे भाई
continuing to
single
challenge
handedly carry
against
कर रहा
G2.
है वो.
Didn't capitulate like map 1, managing to pull themselves back to 6 apiece. So a much closer affair here. But once again, we do have a little bit of a treat for you,
जब-
hearing
जबकि
from
उनका
Valorant,
trend चला भी
the
नहीं
Omen
इस round.
player.
इसमें अपने
What's up guys, I'm Valen and I'm the IGL for G2. Yeah, tough loss versus EDG in the previous match. They played a phenomenal game, so I'm not really intimidated or scared after that result. Key takeaway for me is just how pressuring they were playing. They were taking back a lot of map space, and so they were shrinking it on us. Felt like on that last map, Fracture, we were just running into a brick wall every round because they just kind of knew our intent. So for me, it's more so denying that information, and from there, you know, we just got to keep the defense on their toes.
There's a bit of it. Yeah, oh, okay, all good, Leaf. All good for Leaf, lovely for him.
The fans here in Bangkok are phenomenal. I know you guys were cheering for EDG mainly, but every time I step on the stage, I feel like I'm at home because you guys are fans of the game, and I appreciate that. And to the fans back home, you know, long hours, you know, you guys are busy, but you're getting up early to watch us play. It means a lot for us. So we appreciate all the love back home, and we're gonna make you proud.
hear Valen talking about the fans in the venue here, saying how much he appreciates them, and I can hard vouch for this guy. After map 1 ended, all the other 9 players left to go to the back, you know, have a banana, go down, whatever you need. Valen walks to the front of the stage, raising his arms up, getting them hyped. He is living for moments like these. And now has to carry that momentum, use that energy to close things out for G2.
Okay, now we get to see that neon on this side as well, right? This was meant to be the thing that garnered all our attention, that kind of maybe gave us a reason to believe in this Liquid approach.
Yeah, and I love the switch up coming in. Again, the hard prep into G2. G2 don't play the Sentinels. You don't need the Euro clone to break the Pies wall or the Cypher Util, anything like that. But the used Camo Force, very fast fights again, maybe even looking into fighting towards spawns pretty consistently. But in this round, G2 ready with a defensive fault line to catch out the front B aggro.
Okay, we're going to be in straight for a brawl apparently. Lee, how are you looking so calm under all that? Just walks in, takes 2. Now I'm out, boys.
जाके लूडो खेल ले तुम
Just brutal.
गलत जगह पे आ गया
The spike was in front B as well, so it's not like G2 or Team Liquid rather can speed up into the C site. Kiko's just going to toss out that top spite smoke to threaten some kind of a walk in there. But G2 have already backed away. They're happy to play the numbers advantage, shrink together. It's only going to be Jaw left on that forward line towards A.
I love this. Taking no chances, it looks like, for G2, right?
It's always with numbers advantage with them. Very fundamental gameplay. What it does mean is it offers a lot of space to the attackers.
I'm okay with it.
साथ आओ इसलिए लेफ्ट लेके तुम सबको चला जाए दबा के
how they want to approach it. Leaf trying to find a little bit of a gap to play it from. He's actually done really well in this reposition here. He can kind of check. No one slipped through. No one's now trying to sneak in towards B. I'm good. He's just checking. He's just making sure. But okay, but now the timing. Speaking of that,
he slipped in.
Just after Leaf checked this. Oh, that's gutting. Okay, that's going to be heard. That's an additional body towards CT.
They're going to stall the plant for the kill.
It's fine, it's fine. Kiko going to find Jonah P and get them that security through waterfall to be able to focus towards CT. But there's a flank on the way, and Kiko makes an absolute meal of it. It's Nats and Padatek now feeling a little bit surrounded, and rightly so. Leaf on the swing can't do it. Valen looking like he can. The new showman himself, and G2 taking away another chance here for Liquid to show off that neon.
Yeah, that strong opening fight just sort of neuters the round from TL. Kiko maybe found that timing to get the kill. And G2 responding very nicely with a flank of their own.
It's
not super common that you see G2 go for a lot of early fights. With the Breach Sun especially on this map of both, a lot of times they'll hold on to that ability for, you know, stalling out your hits, maybe looking to use it for some re-clears. So I think even just bringing that in as a look versus TL catches them a bit off guard on the pistol.
Nets अकेला carry करा 16 पे.
It's going to start feeling a little uphill for Liquid.
9-7 पे.
Sheriff's going to be coming out. They wanted to feel it potentially competitive, but G2 look really comfortable in these sort of rounds. Again, it's on the main rounds they won from Haven. This time, Camo going to start things off with a bang. Takes away Jaw, but Leaf controls that B site. No one's slipping through here for Palisade.
Door open, trying to push into Jonah. He's got the Guardian, so time to flash and fall back into sight, calling the reinforcements.
He looks good, though. He doesn't look like he's going to be swamped here. He does. Re-peek into Nats, maybe. A little bit of a wake-up call. You can't take this too lightly. And they've wrapped the site, trying to gap close towards stairs. Hand up again. It gets dangerous because of this. Camo starting to hit some shots. 1 minute to play with. Spike is in hand. He's going to need 4 kills in total to make this one doable. And Valen could be anywhere.
Hasn't found a gun either.
Yeah.
Sheriff rang true, and it might be ringing again. He gets around the corner, paranoia primed. He does the dance, he gets away to safety. Another step, Camo looking back. Valen breaks his heart. Team Liquid can be kept down on 6 as G2 make it up to 8.
Camo क्यों बना e-sport player? इसको निकालो वहाँ से, लूडो ना मारो
to get themselves back into the round. It started with Camo here. Again, his whole team dies if he doesn't get that kill. They're all stunned. But he got in front of it. Then after bringing it into the one-on-one, he was pounding his desk. He was not pleased. Faltering in that moment.
can feel it, right? You can feel how close that was. Tangible, pulling off what felt like a near-on miracle, but what it is now a nice bonus for G2. Guardian Stingers, odds and ends, sure, but they've got a lovely little lead here. Liquid need to start cooking now. Look how many bodies are on this site.
Still have the stun.
Christ.
This door opens, everyone's stunned.
Oh god, door's not stuck. It's gonna be stuck. Is there any way out for them? It's Coward take down Jonah P. So actually, Liquid standing tall for now, but G2 looking a little bit tricky on this one. I like it. Trying to get onto this skin.
Emma steps up to be the hero in another round. Liquid in a tough spot. They don't have a lurk. They don't have much space. G2 holding the board down. Good shot from Kiko.
Wow, इनके मैन को उड़ा.
Leaf. He was just about to walk away, but he's now gonna have to keep this in mind, right? Valon's got Nats. Valon is in the smoke. Valon is in the smoke. Someone please don't let Valon get away with this. He's such a cheeky little player. He'll take those high risks. And Liquid looking like they're stalled out here. Yeah, they're pausing for a second, waiting for that util to come back up. But why do I feel G2 are a bit naughty about this one? The timing might just be right. Valon got caught looking away, it felt like, but Trent's still standing, as is Leaf. Numbers could be an issue now, down to a 2v3. And Leaf's recovered an absolutely prized possession. Surely someone's going to keep an eye on this at some point. How close can Leaf get? Okay, Kiko's having a glance now. Shoulders it for a second. Distraction. Help him out here. Trent's the one to find it. Trent to try and clear the corners here, but the likelihood, the chances are starting to dwindle. 6 HP in a Sheriff. Not quite the same impact as Leaf with the Vandal. And I think we know how this has gone. Kiko going to find it. That's going to be 2 standing. That was a bonus.
Yeah, it was a bit of a spooky one, getting stalled out for so long in tree. I was spooked.
I mean, I'm with him.
I was spooked for TL, but genuinely, the fact they didn't actually fall to the stun missile combo going into back rubble, dealt with Valon here on site. Need to have solid closes on rounds like this. Carrying over 2 rifles, it's going to be all right for them.
They just look a little dour, don't they? If you're looking at Liquid, they don't look pumped up even in their wins. I mean, you're probably not proud of that one. You're not walking away going, great first buy there, boys. Loving that, more of that. But, you know, I want to see them get a little lively here. Get pumped up into this. Because already you can see that first hand, that first move shown with that Viper's pit towards B.
Bit odd, throwing up the neon wall onto C, trying to fake an exec, but no one running on through. Really, Team Liquid, I think they're expecting some kind of reaction from G2, some sort of forward fighting after this Viper's pit went down, but it hasn't really happened so far. Okay, Team Liquid hear a Teho drone over towards C, maybe think that's going to be the strong side of the map, but G2 are already starting to shift into an anticipated A exec.
I almost feel like you'd want to double back towards C after hearing that Teho drone. Show a little bit of presence towards A. Oh, okay, they've been almost over-rewarded. George looking lost, like a little out of it on that one, maybe not fully focused on what was coming their way. Nats has got a great lurk here, but do they now call the retreat, right? He's in a good position, but it's not super forward.
The thing is, because no one stepped out into sand space, Team Liquid are reading that G2 have rotated through spawn quickly into A. Once you go down in numbers, those are really your 2 calls. You're bolstering up the defense on A, or you're looking to scout for some kind of info. I think this is great macro from Team Liquid. Quietly go into the C-pop here.
Nice read. Very disciplined from Nats. It's not wants to maybe take the temptation to take that space early would have obviously been there, but again I liked it, waiting for everyone to come over. No. We're gonna be able to plant, right? We're not gonna be stalled out, right? You can see them. They're like, guys, do not let Waterfall go any other way than ours right now. Let me get that spike down and then we can talk. But they're all gonna come down and keep G2 at bay.
Wow, Team Liquid throwing everything into that. The firing squad for Waterfall. Now G2 on the approach.
They're up by Rap though. This is really risky. G2 clearing house. G2 break down the door, straight through the sights. And where the hell was Liquid in that? Looking asleep at the wheel.
It's a massacre. G2 without a duelist. It doesn't matter. I've got to see that one more time because that just takes all the wind out of Liquid sails.
How?
I'm amazed they played so dedicated towards the site. They were so risky at that point.
they had the breach ult to play off of, so you'd think they could have done something with that. But then once they didn't quite pour it into water, they were just kind of fish in a barrel. So odd. You'd see tons of that utility coming in from the breach Tejo, forcing them off the lines they're holding, forcing them off those complementary angles, and then all of a sudden you have to look two different ways. G2, the timings they're taking out into sight. Punish it perfectly.
Pause for Liquid here. And again, if I'm looking at the round, imagining it's frustrating after what felt like a very good read. Nats with that very late lurk, kind of pulling those rotations towards A, and then again, him finding that nice timing to take the side. Now the post plan is going to be a real frustration, I can imagine, and especially at such a pivotal moment, right? This is going to put their money in question, and then it's double digits for G2, and then you're starting to think, well, they've also got map 1, this could be a 2-0, right? This is when it all compounds.
And you're also thinking about the ultimate cycling going on through, because they invested the breach ult in that last round. Okay, Team Liquid, you have no real power ults coming up. You're still pretty far away for Cammy K. It's bad when your opponents have a pet name for you, and they're beating you.
Rough.
And it's worse when G2 have the ult cycles coming in, the Yoru, the breach, the Tejo. Like, you win this round here from G2, and you are set up beautifully to snowball that through the rest of it.
And we have to stress, this is life on the line, right? This is staying in this. Elimination between these two. So if Liquid let this slip between their fingertips, they only have themselves to blame. As G2 looking sharper and sharper by the second. I'm not going to take the space though. Valorant the one to deal with it, and this is down to pretty much Camo and Kiko trying to make something out of nothing, but it's controlled again. G2 at the helm, looking unfazed by Liquid.
The kills went in all the right places for G2 as well. We've got Dimensional Drift, we've got a tail coming online. G2 are primed and ready for this next round. But this will have been the one Team Liquid was seriously talking about. Hold some good rounds. Post-plant's been an issue. Finding ways to unlock Nats as well.
I'm so sorry, buddy.
It's for the greater good of the round, but we are into this one as pacey, at least as an early start, right? A show of force.
Yeah, it's a funky one, right? Trying to show a lot of presence into A, quickly followed by this 3-walk into B.
Is this what we're going for, Trent? Oh my god, he's a lucky boy today. Oh no, Kamek! He's just walked into his death. Jonah P on the punish. It is traded by Nats, but they're feeling desperate, and desperation reeks throughout this. Jaw gonna find Padatek just wandering away. What is this?
What's going on? There's fights on two fronts, and G2 are winning everywhere. Camo gets the spike, but he has to be a hero for the team. He gets the burst. Camo staying alive here, baiting out shots, but now it truly is him against the world.
1v3. You know where you are, and they're closing in. G2 wanting to put Liquid in their graves as Camo tries to shift around. 2 on one side and 1 on the flank. You give him a 1v1 though. You're playing a risky game. Got to tighten up here, because Camo could absolutely do this, but Nerve's starting to play a factor, you can see it. Trying to toy with the time, and he's got the angle now, hold on. Valen joins up, and they double swing! G2 fighting together! Not letting that slip, not allowing Liquid in the door. That is another round for them, and Liquid, what was that round?
Just the final glimmer of hope, it felt like, going away. Kamek tried to take that timing, punish the player he knew was out in B, but G2 have been playing together on that site. Weren't gonna let that happen. It's just heartbreaking for Camo again. I feel, right, he had that one moment earlier against Valen that just slips away.
Close.
Even there, he had isolated fights, getting chip damage, but couldn't quite finish off a kill.
That's the difference here, isn't it? You can't win all on your own. You can see when maybe Nats has a good game or two, but to ask that every single time, it's just not going to happen, and G2 won't let it happen. This could be 12. This could be match point coming in. Chor wants to go for a walk. Takes himself forward, and he's not alone. You're rarely alone with G2. It looks like they all swing, and they take a stand. Valen willing to brawl out on it. Takes out Padatek too.
2 kills there is just unbelievable. Team Liquid having to use the Teho drone to re-clear this just to secure the spike. And G2 were set up in front mid. They could pinch these players trying to rotate.
I kind of like that. Do they go for the pinch on it? The timing's everything. It's good. They're at least going to get another on this one. They're keeping the man up to the good here, and they get the information to boot.
And you're looking at this retake. Jonah P stun's going to be coming back. Jaw's got full utility. G2 have all the pieces with the scouting too of the dimensional drift to get things going.
G2 on the verge, on the precipice, it feels like a punching in that 12th round, but still, Nats and Kiko gonna need to go big. Nats tries to get techie with a little slippery towards the smoke. Kiko, no! Oh, it's heartbreaking, you can see it. It's falling apart at the seams for Team Liquid. Nerves really starting to hit home right now, as they are now gonna be 1 round away from going home.
G2 are just catching every single break right now. Every little angle that Team Liquid might have to get themselves back in a round, and it just narrowly is missed. Hitting that shot's absurd from Kiko, but he couldn't keep it carrying through to the end of the round. Now they're going to be faced off against 12. The ticket home around the corner if they can't come back in this.
Hey man, let him get it. Hey man, let him get it.
Let's go.
Leafs on 21-11 as well. He's looking sharp today. Liquid, do or die time. All on the line now. And it's not been a pretty half so far. What does this position feel like it's going to work? Oh, of course it does!
Because it is!
Oh, Chocobo draws first blood.
And look where Jonah P is too with the Rolling Thunder ready. If they try to exec out here, they're going to get killed.
What are the options? What are the options? That will help. Leaf gonna go down, but now the pressure starts to mount. Nats in position, trying to hold that back line. Finds his fight and takes down the man. But Trent with a fight back in towards site. Spike now loose. Kamek and Nats called upon. And all those moments for Nats, they were great to get them here, but they may all be for nothing. They bait him in. G2 setting the record straight. 13-7. America's keeping their hope alive.
G2 get a little bit of vengeance for Americas and for Sentinels, shutting down Nats, taking out Liquid. Not gonna let EMEA be on top 2 times in a row.